everyone. Welcome to Art Atrium. I'd like to start off by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, the Grego and Bijiro people, and pay respect to the elders, past and present. So today we have two very exciting exhibitions, two solo exhibitions concurrently, one by Miguel Olmo on this left-hand side, and the other one by Asher Milgate. So both of them have solo exhibitions in our gallery, and they're both fantastic artists. Miguel is actually wears a few hats. He's actually also the manager of Gallery Lane Cove, and he's doing a fantastic job there, curating exhibitions and running the gallery. And but he's also actually a great artist. So maybe one day, if he can afford to just concentrate on his art full time, he'll go really far. But at the moment, he's got his obligations to the gallery there, and so we just have to wait a little bit longer. But in the meantime, Asher has had a few solo exhibitions with us already, and he always looking for new ways to develop his photography. I was actually introduced to him by Sandy Edwards, who is with us here today, and Asher also happened to be good friends of a couple of friends of mine, like Jason Wing and Maddie Gibbs is here. Jason is better half, and also Black Douglas. And so I think Asher is always thinking about what he can do, new concepts, and every show is different. But I think he decided that he wanted to do something that has some slight sort of like continuation from what he did before. And in his last show, he had a lot of these light boxes where he basically stitched together a lot of the work, and he's basically continued with that, developed this new series of work on photography, on landscape, but basically cut them all up. I always say to him that it reminds me of like man destroying the environment, and then he's putting it back together. But to open the show, someone who can talk about the work much better than I can, we have the senior curator from Manly Art Gallery, and she's a fantastic curator. You should all go to Manly Art Gallery because they always have fantastic exhibitions. They have this environmental and design art prize coming up, so they're very big on the environment. So I would encourage you all to go and see it when it's on, and also please do go over there as well. While we say it's on the North Shore, it's not that hard. You will enjoy a ferry ride going there from Circular Quay. So I'd like you two all to put your hands together and welcome Katherine Roberts.
Thanks, Simon. Well, it's great to be here, and I think the thread that Simon pulled out and brought through in Asher and Miguel's work of the environment is exactly what I was going to talk about, because there are so many things that one could talk about, and they're quite different exhibitions, but it's through the lens of the environment that I thought I'd share a few words. And I know in 2 weeks that Matt Cox is going to be interviewing both artists, so I'm sure he will share some unique insights and draw some stories directly from the artists themselves, so come along to that in 2 weeks. So it's wonderful to be here to celebrate the opening of 2 exhibitions by artists whose practices are distinct in medium and approach, yet deeply connected by a shared concern with the world around us, our environment, our histories, and the ways we inhabit both. At first glance, Perpetual Pendulum by Miguel Olmo and The Sun is My Religion by Asher Milgate may seem to occupy different territories. One moves fluidly across sculpture, installation, sound, and digital media, the other through the language of photography. But both ask us to think about our relationship with the environment as something that shapes us, remembers us, and demands our care. For Miguel, the environment is present in the very act of making. Perpetual Pendulum embraces transformation. Ideas evolve, materials are repurposed, and works migrate from one medium to another. recyclable materials become not just a practical choice but a philosophy, reminding us that creativity, like nature itself, depends on cycles of renewal rather than endless consumption. His works also suggest that nothing is ever truly finished. Each artwork becomes the seed of the next, moving in a perpetual rhythm of adaptation and reinvention. And we had a wonderful talk, just a quick walk through from that extraordinary AI collaborative work, the projection work, through to this almost back in time to this work. And I love the idea that every day the gallery's open, these 100 panels will move, they'll march across the wall, and this pile will be depleted by the end of the exhibition and end up over there as 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. You'll see the works kind of march across the wall. And and this is a really interesting project that fascinating. There's so much behind these works, and I urge you to grab Miguel and take a deeper dive if you aren't familiar with his practice. It's really fascinating and great to see him out of the gallery space and here as an artist. Quite a distinct identity, and more important. Asher approaches the environment from another perspective. His landscapes are never empty vistas, they're places layered with memory, culture, and history. Through 4 decades of relationship with the Wiradjuri community in Wellington, his photographs ask us to reconsider what it means to look at country, not merely as land to be observed, but as a living archive of relationships, responsibilities, and stories. Each handmade photograph, torn, stitched, and reassembled, echoes processes of repair. Silver, salt, fibre paper, and thread become materials through which memory is held and history reconsidered. The land itself becomes both subject and collaborator, carrying traces of colonial histories while also asserting enduring presence. What connects these exhibitions is an understanding that the environment is never passive, whether through recycled materials or through landscapes shaped by cultural memory. Miguel and Asher remind us that we are participants in ongoing ecological and social systems. They invite us to think about permanence and ownership, and towards ideas of stewardship, renewal, and relationship. These exhibitions suggest that art can help us see the environment differently, not as something outside ourselves, but as something we are continually making, inhabiting, and responding to. They remind us that every material has a history, every landscape holds memory, and every act of creation carries with it an ethical relationship to the world. So please join me in congratulating Miguel and Asher on their thoughtful and compelling works.
Thank you, Katherine. That's a really good summary of the works. I might get Miguel to say a few words first, and then I'll get Asher to do that.
I think you get Asher first.
Okay, well, okay, get Asher first.
Thanks, Miguel. I'll read the room after you. Okay. Well, thank you to everyone for coming to Art Atrium, and thank you, Simon, for coming back from your tour of the USA and the Soccer World Cup. Just highlighting how important our show is.
Yes.
But thanks again for everyone for coming. And I think like the works, for me personally, they're very deeply personal, and they're the complexity of the layers. I can talk for days about, but probably at the end of the day, it's about perspective, and it's about seeing and feeling, and being open to another point of view. And I've used the tree as the gateway for conversation around what it is, and what it is to be an Australian, but also the environment and how it can impact you and shift the way that you think and feel. And Hans Heissen, for me, which is the title of the work, is a quote of his, and I found a kindred spirit in the way his relationship with light and particularly trees. And so with that, I just kind of fell down a rabbit hole for 5 years, and I'm still on that journey of like seeking out trees and looking at light constantly. I'm a bit obsessed, but yeah, I'm completely obsessed. But yeah, I think I'll be able to expand more on that at the artist talk. That's on the 18th.
Yep.
On the 18th. So if you're around, and so wonderful to show you your work is absolutely fantastic, and I think the complement of time and relationship really sits really well. So really great. Thank you.
Thank you, firstly, thank you for articulating so well what I've been trying to say for many years and perhaps we've been so successful. So thank you. I really appreciate what you've been able to contribute to the works themselves. I'm not going to talk about the works because that's what we have the 18th for. If you don't come on the 18th, too bad. Or you can just grab us and sort of pin us to a corner, and if you are going to buy a work, we will tell you all about it. Just really, it's just an opportunity to thank you all for coming out on a Saturday to support the gallery, to support Asher, to support myself. We will be doing this regardless whether we have an audience or not, but then once we put it into a public context, it just makes that much more meaning and significance about what it is that we do things. Again, I don't want to spend too much time. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to encourage you to come back on the 18th. If you can't come back on the 18th, I'm sure we'll be on YouTube channels. Just one thing. I've been talking a lot about my work. I will be around for a little bit longer. I will urge you to come and say hi at least. But I will also encourage you guys to just check your Instagram, my Instagram, our website. Other than the fact that you'll be able to get a much more of a breadth about what we do, it brings our algorithm up, and it puts it in the front of the eyes and eyeballs that perhaps real others can't. And finally, just to say thank you to Simon. Simon is a special kind of gallerist. He is a very trusting gallerist. I'm a gallery director myself. I am my own worst nightmare. Everything that I tell artists not to do, I do to Simon. But it is his trust in his artists that is a testament to his endearment to the art. So thank you, Simon, for everything that you do.
Thank you, Miguel. I'd like to echo what Miguel said about supporting the arts. Artists don't do it for the money. They just love art, it's in their blood. They can't help it. They know that they go into a profession where it's difficult to make a living, but they still want to do it. So on that basis, I always feel that we need to support the arts. It's very important, it's part of civilization. So one way you can help to support, first thing is I'd like to thank you all for turning up. That's the first step, being here to see their work. I think artists always appreciate an audience. Then if you like to take the second step, you may like to consider acquiring a work. I know it's difficult times, it's cost of living crisis and so on, but it will mean a lot to the artists with that support. So if you're interested in any of the work, you can come and see me. But also, Asher have these beautiful catalogs, which I individually signed. So you may like to acquire them, it's very inexpensive, it's only $40 each. But the works are generally not expensive at all. So I encourage you to talk to the artist and talk to me afterwards and enjoy the rest of the exhibition. Thank you.